going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to preview Port Adelaide's round 2 clash against the Sydney Swans at the SCG. Big game heading up to the SCG to take on the Swans. It's going to be a hell of a game for Easter Sunday. It's a very exciting game, and it's a big game for Port Adelaide because this is one that can shut down a bit of the doubters, shut down all the haters, and really put our foot forward for what we are going to bring this year. Against the Swans, up there is a virtually impossible task. We did it last year against them in round 1. Obviously, they were a bit undermanned, but nonetheless, we still took them down in a great fight in the wet. This year, it's a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit warmer, 30 degrees. We've obviously played the Fremantle Dockers in 33-degree heat at Adelaide Oval last week. An 8-day break to go up to Sydney and play them in what will be a little bit easier conditions, considering it's a twilight game, but it's going to be an exciting affair. So, some of the key things we're going to look for in this game in particular will be, no Paddy Ryder. What will we do? Now, obviously, I'm recording this before the teams come out. It is Easter Friday and it's Easter weekend, so tomorrow obviously will be Good Friday, so we don't have the exact teams as the time I'm filming this. So we're going to have a little bit of a guessing game as to whether or not who comes in or not. A definite in will be Robbie Gray, that's for sure. Whether or not we make any more changes will be up to, obviously, the coaches. Do we bring in Billy Frampton to take that ruck spot and keep our structure from last week? Or do we go back to that two-man forward line with Dixon and Westhoff chipping in the ruck and obviously playing a little bit of a smaller team against the Swans? The Swans don't have a recognised ruckman. Callum Sinclair's their only real ruckman they've got going on at the moment, and I feel like he's not really, an elite ruckman to say the least. So, do we risk it and go in with that less recognised ruckman, but really play to our strength with the clearances and our inside ball work and really push it down forward? We'll see. I feel like that Kenny won't make the drastic change of bringing in Billy Frampton. I think we'll just stick with the structure we had in the second half. I feel like we did play better in the second half against the Dockers without Paddy. That's not to say Paddy wasn't playing well, but I feel like once Paddy went down, we had Westhoff in the ruck. He was clearing off his own ball work in the middle. He was applying pressure, and our inside 50s went up a bit more, and our just clearance work looked a lot better with that structure. So I think from that point, Kenny will keep the one change for Robbie Gray to come in for Paddy Ryder. It's an interesting thing, and I feel like a lot of Port fans will be divided by this. We all want to see Billy Frampton have a go, and I completely agree with the point of if he's going to play, he'll get experience, so in case Ryder goes down again, we've got that recognised ruckman to come in and really put his foot forward. He's only a young gun as well, so he's really probably the best of the pick of the lesser ruckmans we have. So it'll be interesting to see. Let me know in the comments below, Port fans, what would you like to see from Kenny and the coaches in tonight's predictions for the selection. The next thing I'd like to put on the points list would be to nullify Buddy. Who takes Buddy Franklin? This is a very interesting debate because Buddy obviously kicked 4 goals last time against us in a losing team. He just had no support from any of his teammates. I feel like he's going to have a bit more of that support with young guns like Haywood. He's got people like Parker who can play forward as well from the midfield. He's got Isaac Heaney down there. I mean, these players, Sam Reid, I think, may be coming back as well. There's some competition there now, and they got a little bit more full strength. Dan Hatterby's coming back. He can play forward too. So he's got a little bit more support. So who takes Buddy and really, nullifies him, keeps him out of the game? I feel like Tom Cleary's got the perfect opportunity here to take him. I think he took him last year, but it was more of a team defence style we played last year. This year seems to be more the same, but it's that one-on-one where I think Tommy Cleary can win it. Obviously, he'll get help from Dougal Howard and Tommy Jonas cutting off across, but I think Tommy Cleary is really that one-on-one player. Dougal Howard seems to be, he can be that one-on-one player, but I feel like he attacks the ball as well. He's a very attacking defender. Tom Jonas will take a smaller forward as well, and yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens there, but Tommy Cleary gets the job for me. He's the perfect player to take Buddy, and Buddy's such a star, so even if Buddy kicks 4 or 5 goals, as long as we can either nullify Buddy or nullify the Swans forward line and keep them below 12-13 goals, that's a real win. We will win that game if that's the case. Now, obviously, the other thing I wanted to point out on was the fact that the weather's going to be 30 degrees again. I think it will be okay. I feel like that the heat coming from last week's game in the twilight to come into this week will actually benefit us a little bit more, since the Swans played in WA, which is a little bit cooler. And I feel like their travelling aspect as well may affect them. They've played a 7-day break compared to Port's 8. It'll be interesting to see exactly what happens there. But I feel like weather's weather. You play outdoor sport. Man up and play the game properly. Some key matchups to look out for this week, Port fans, and all fans of the Swans as well, obviously, if you're going to watch this. The big one, as I just said, who nullifies Buddy? It's going to be Cleary versus Buddy Franklin. It's going to be an exciting affair down back, and the Swans' best on ground will probably be Buddy, because he just rips us apart every single time. If he rips us apart, that's fine. As long as the rest don't, I'm happy. Down the other end, Dixon, I think, is going to play on Grundy. I feel like Grundy is coming to the end of his career, so Dixon might dominate. But Dixon versus Buddy, that's a whole nother matchup that they won't even play on each other. But who kicks the most goals? That's something to talk about. 4 goals each I'm going to go for those two. 4 goals each. Dixon, obviously, a bit quiet last week. He just was playing more up the ground. Obviously, he was helping out the ruck. And Charlie needs to really implement his game as well. He kicked 3 last time they played the Swans, so he's looking in fine form, Big Dix, and he's gonna rip Sydney apart, I reckon. Along with Robbie Gray coming back in the side, which is a big key point. I think, we played quite well without Robbie last week, but I feel like that Robbie now will really give us that bit of extra class. And I know Paddy Ryder going down is going to affect us, but it's one player in a key position, whereas we have 21 other players in 21 key positions that all have another role to play, and we can cover Paddy's role and really bring out the best of everyone else's role, which is how a footy team should work. The biggest matchup I'd like to talk about is midfield versus midfield. The calibre of players and the greatness from these players in these midfields is phenomenal. I'll run you through a couple of names. Josh Kennedy, Dan Hanbury, Isaac Heaney, Jake Lloyd goes through there. You've got someone else's on the name is escaping me. You've got Kieran Jack that goes through there as well. Those players from the Swans are outright stars. We've got to nullify them. You've also got young guns going through there as well, which, is just a whole different level. And their midfield is deep too. So if their one does not perform, another will. We've just got to cover them. I mean, you look at Port's midfield, you've got players like Ollie Wines, Sam Powell-Pepper, Brad Ebert, Tom Rockcliffe runs through there, Travis Boak, Polly as well. Wingard goes through the middle. It's a high calibre of players, that's for sure. It's going to be very interesting to watch who goes to who. And it's just going to be a matter of winning clearances. On a smaller ground, keeping inside forward 50 is a key point. Time at forward half is crucial at the SCG. If you can, keep it in your forward half and really put the pressure on. Scoreboard pressure is immense too against the Swans. That's what's got to be applied, and Port Adelaide have got to take this game on. They've got to play that attacking footy like they did last week, end to end, because this ground is so small. 2 or 3 kicks and you're already down to the other goal square. It's a small ground, but it's going to be a great game to watch. And don't rule out the Swans for anything this year. They look good against the West Coast. They really looked good, and that goal from Luke Parker, wow, I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. And just to finish off this preview for the game, this is a big game. The biggest point I want to make is this is a top 8 side. They're in the top 8. Port Adelaide's time is now. You've got to beat this. Shake off that tag of not beating top 8 sides. This is the big game. Round 2, I know, I completely understand, early in the year does not define a season. For us, this is all mental. We know our physicality. We know how good we are on the field. It's all about up here. And if Port Adelaide can bring up here what they bring on the field, they will beat the Swans on Sunday, and they'll beat them comfortably. They've got the skill. They've got the game plan. It's just a matter of whether or not they want it. And if Port Adelaide do it, they want it, they'll win. Simple as that. Alright, let's get into predictions for the game this weekend. Port Adelaide will win by 10 points, I reckon, and a nail biter will kick the last couple of goals of the game. It's going to be a real exciting affair, and Obviously, the changes will be Robbie in for Paddy Ryder. It's going to be an exciting game at the SCG. Port Adelaide, I hope, will get up, and this will keep momentum going for the rest of the season. Well, that's it, Port fans. That wraps up this round 2 preview of Port Adelaide versus Sydney. This Sunday, Easter Sunday, at the SCG, 4:10 PM South Australian time. Make sure you tune in and watch the boys. Hopefully get the job done. Thank you to everyone for tuning into this video. Thank you everyone for tuning in over Spreaker. It's now on the Port Fan Radio Network on Spreaker. So if you would like to listen to all my videos or any other podcasts that I do, Port Fan Radio is the place to go. So tune in there. Porter's podcast is 8 PM every Wednesday night SA time as well. A big congratulations to Hamish Hartlett, who plays 150 games this week. A well-deserved 150 games after the struggles he's had over his career with injuries. So it's good to see him strutting back into form, and I look forward to him playing a big game this week. That's it. Thank you very much for tuning in, Port fans. Once again, my name is Anthony, and obviously, come on the pair.